Climate change and financial risk. Is there a role for central banks? Introduction. The escalating effects of climate change on global economies have become a central issue in policy debates. Its far-reaching consequences for economic growth and financial stability highlight the urgent necessity for stronger fiscal monetary policy coordination to tackle the challenges posed. Central banks are at the forefront of designing implementation policy in response to CC. This study aims to test the effectiveness of central banks in addressing CC risks to ensure financial stability. Our analysis focused on assessing how effectively central banks mitigate the financial risks stemming from CC. Failure to adequately manage this risk may result in significant investment losses, increased uncertainty in returns, and broader financial instability. As financial risks intensify, they place additional strain on key economy indicators such as exchange rates, inflation, and interest rates. A range of factors contribute to financial risk, including financial crises, wars, recessions, political uncertainties, global risk, internal conflicts, and the COVID-19 pandemic. More recently, CC has become as a significant driver of financial risk, as highlighted by who pointed out the dangers associated with flooding. The relationship between CC and FR is well documented, with growing concerns about how climate related disruptions have implications for bank stability. Performance of insurance financial companies. Sectors like agriculture, tourism, and energy are particularly vulnerable, and any adverse effects, such as reduced agricultural output or damage to energy infrastructure, can lead to increased costs, contributing to inflationary pressures. These pressures present significant challenge for central banks, as they complicate the task of maintaining price stability. Contend that failure to address CC risk can lead to substantial economic disruptions. Financial institutions are also exposed to these risks through asset devaluation, loan defaults, and shifts in investment due to both physical and transition risk induced by CC. Central banks therefore need to account for these risks to prevent severe financial instability and mitigate potential output losses. Central banks have begun addressing CC-related risk through a range of policies that generally fall into three broad categories. The first category involves regulatory requirements. These measures focus on ensuring that financial institutions incorporate climate-related risk into their operation. This includes mandating disclosures about environmental risk, establishing frameworks for managing climate-related risk, embedding these risks into capital adequacy, mandating disclosure about environmental risk, establishing framework manage climate-related risk, embedding these risks into capital adequacy standards, and fostering the growth of green financial markets. The second category centers around green finance. Central banks in this area promote sustainable financing by encouraging green loans and integrating sustainability metrics into lending criteria. This also involves initiatives like launching green refinance schemes and supporting the development of green bonds and funds to mobilize mobilize resources for environmental friendly investments. Lastly, macroprudential policies aim to ensure that environmental sustainability is embedded within the broader financial system. These policies integrate climate and environmental considerations into the macroprudential frameworks, helping financial institutions manage long-term environmental risks and fostering a more resilient and sustainability economy. Despite the various efforts made by central banks, the overall effectiveness of their policies in addressing climate-related effects remains underexplored. Our paper seeks to bridge this gap by evaluating how central bank policies influence financial risk linked to CC. Our hypothesis is that there is a significant relationship between extreme weather events and FR and the effectiveness of central bank green policies in mitigating FR associated with CC is empirically measurable. In essence, we posit that extreme weather events contribute to FR and CBGP can play a crucial role in reducing these risks. This risk, thus linking climate change impacts to the financial sector and evaluating the response of central banks through their green policies. Drawing on data from 115 countries over time, 1984 and 2021, we present several important findings. Firstly, we demonstrate that CC, particularly extreme weather events like wildfires and floods, significantly heightens financial risk. These effects are not short-lived, they persist for at least 2 years. Secondly, we show that CBGP are effective in mitigating the financial risk associated with these climate events. Thirdly, among various policy measures, regulatory requirements, and green finance initiatives are the most impactful in reducing climate-induced financial vulnerabilities. Finally, our analysis reveals that countries with more expansive credit markets tend to be more susceptible to financial risk exacerbated by CC. Our approaches and findings add to the literature as follows first, while early research primarily assess the effectiveness of central banks' green policies through equilibrium models. We go beyond these approaches by introducing a policy index for central bank green policies. This index offers a more nuanced and precise measure of how well central banks manage climate-related financial risk. Second, to our knowledge, we are the first to analyze the financial risk posed by extreme weather events using cross-country data. Priori studies have focused on the effects of such events on areas like mortality, agriculture, migration, and even innovation. We, by contrast, focus in financial sector by examining how CBGP can mitigate the FR emanating from CC. Our study is the first to assess the effectiveness of CBGP in reducing the EFR posed by CC, contributing critical evidence to the ongoing debate. Literature review. Weather patterns has become more vol- volatile, a manifestation of CC, thus increasingly recognized as significant threats to financial system. Business impact by these events often struggle to maintain positive sales growth, while frequent natural disasters lead to resign non-performing loans. negatively affecting banks' liquidity and solvency. As CCE intensifies financial risk aversion increases, resulting in postponed investment and a shift towards low risk projects. Additionally, climatic conditions and stock markets are inversely related, creating illiquidity and volatility amplif- amplified by financial and interconnection. Climate risk are now recognized as a substantial threat to financial stability. The economic repercussions of climatic conditions are far-reaching, affecting sectors such as agriculture, construction, and tourism. Caribbean nations are a good example. They regularly face hurricanes, leading to mounting debt and potential sovereign defaults. Oil producing countries, particularly in the Gulf, face transition risks not only from physical climate impacts but also from the decreasing demand for fossil fuels. These risks have far reaching consequences as evidenced by growing concerns over global food security and political stability. Central banks, as key institutions in maintaining financial regulation and stability, have increasingly turned their attention to CC risk. By 2021, many central banks have adopted sustainability mandates, integrating green finance initiatives and requiring climate risk disclosures. Proposed measures such as green quantitative easing and financial regulation aim to stabilize economies amid the sustainability transitions. However, the effectiveness of these policies remains a subject of debate. Some critics argue that central banks' involvement in climate policy may compromise their neutrality and expand their mandate beyond traditional roles. Converse, Conversely, others contend that central bank interventions are crucial, especially given that government efforts alone may be insufficient to address the scale of climate risk. Despite increasing awareness of CC risk, there is still limited research directly connecting these events of financial risk. Additionally, while the theoretical impact of central banks' green policies has been discussed, there is a scarcity of empirical evidence on their effectiveness. Their, this paper addresses the gap by investigating the link between extreme weather events, financial risks, and central bank green policies. It contributes to the wider dialogue on how central banks mitigate FR associated with CC methodology model to investigate how CCFR and CVGP are related with employee fixed effects model that accommodates country-specific and time-specific factors, reducing the bias from omitted variables. The two-way if EM takes the following form. In equation 1 are cross-sectional time dimensions and are respectively the unit and time fixed effects and denotes the noise. We extend this model to test how CVGP help control the effect of climate variation on financial risk with the following regression model. In these models, FR represents a financial risk. Damage is the climate-related damage resulting from the extreme weather events. CVGP signifies the implementation of central bank green policy. B are the estimated coefficients of interest and principal interest is B. And financially controls refers to a set of control variables. Further description of all these variables appears below. Depend variable. Given our hypothesis and research objective, we require a country-level broad measure of financial risk. For this purpose, we utilize the FR index owing to the International Country Risk Guide database. This index gauges a country's capability to manage its risk obligations efficiently. The index is considered a reliable proxy for national level. One of the key strengths of this index is that it incorporates a comprehensive set of indicators that capture both financial and macroeconomic risk. The official ICRA, ICRG index assigns high scores to lower levels of financial risk, with values ranging from 0 to 15. To align the index with our analysis, where a higher score represents greater financial risk, we modify the index by multiplying it by -1 and adding 15. This adjustment ensures that higher score corresponds to higher financial risk consistent with our research objectives. Independent variables. The data on damage caused by extreme weather events adjusted by the Consumer Price Index is sourced from the EMDAT database. It has comprehensive historical information on natural disasters, population affected, fatalities, and economic damage in $1,000. We quantify the severity of CC damage by taking the natural logarithm of total raw damage with 1 added to account for zero damage cases given the available data. We focus on 6 types of extreme weather: wildfires, floods, storms, droughts, wet mass movements, and extreme temperatures. Another key independent variable is the central bank's green policy, CBGP, which encompasses the green tools adopted by central banks in response to CC. The tools include financial institution integration of climate risk management, promoting green finance, and incorporating climate risk into macroprudential frameworks. Our primary source from policy information is Cow and Bowles, who analyzes sustainability-related policies adopted by 70 central banks. Additionally, we gathered policy details from central banks' official websites, green central banking platforms, and climate governance initiatives. This information was extracted by reviewing new articles, financial stability reports, and other relevant documents. A comprehensive list of the CBGPs between 1984 and 2021 span many papers and therefore is not included here to conserve space but is available upon request. We categorize the policies into 3 groups based on their specific objectives: regulatory requirements, green finance, and macroprudential policies. As outlined earlier, Table 1 illustrates the classification criteria and the development of CBGP index. A score of 1 is assigned if a central bank adopts any green policy and a value of 0 otherwise. To aggregate this score, we apply the principal component analysis method. The time series plot of CBGP and its 3 components are presented in Figure 1. The figure indicates that regulatory requirements were the first to emerge in 90, 19 and are the most widely adopted by CBGP, followed by green finance and macroprudential policies. Green finance, green finance policies were introduced in 2008, while macroprudential policy emerged in 2016. Between 2016 and 2021, CBGP adoption surged with coincidence with growing CC events worldwide. Other variables. Our model contains several control variables selected based on prior literature. The first control variable is economy development proxied by the annual growth rate of GDP as foreign direct investment. Is often linked to the political and economic risk. We also control for FDI escalate by GDP. Monetary policy is another important factor in our model, represented by broad money as a percentage of GDP. Additionally, total population in long form is used as a control, given the relationship between labor market condition and financial risk. We include the national unemployment rate as a control. To account for financial and macroeconomic conditions, we control for inflation and exchange rate fluctuations that are from the World Development Indicators data. Our, our dataset encompasses 160 countries covering a time series from 1984 to 2021. It is an unbalanced panel resulting in no fewer than 2217 observations. A list of countries in tabular form is available upon request. Table 2 provides descriptive statistics. The FR the FR variable average 13.6, ranging from 0.960 to 15,000, showing wide financial risk variation across countries. The highest damage value, 19,289, occurred in the USA in 2005 with an economic loss of 238.3 billion, highlighting the severe impact of extreme weather events. The CBGP variable ranging from minus 0.143 to 11,956 with a mean of 0.048 reflects significant difference in central bank green policy adoption with generally low average implementation. Results: CCNFR. The effects of extreme weather, as measured by total damage and FR detailed in Table 3, represent models both with and without control variables occupying columns 1 to 3, with columns 3 showing results. When all control variables are included, the key takeaway from these results is that the impact of damage remains robust regardless of the inclusion of control variables with coefficients ranging from 0.054 to 0.058 and a minimum standard error of 0.029. Economically, a one standard deviation increase in climate-related related damage leads to an increase in financial risk by 0.0 33 units or 2.43% of the sample mean of FR. Structural break unit root tests following are also undertaken and variables are found to be stationary. The positive relationship between climate change related damage and FR can be explained by multiple conceptual frameworks such as liability risk. Industries vulnerable to CC may face climate-related laws, lawsuits, particularly if they fail to disclose climate risk or lack adequacy adaptation and risk management plans. Such liability risk can significantly heighten financial risk for the affected business. Moreover, financial risk can also arise directly from the physical damage caused by climate events. Physical damage can destroy assets and infrastructure, disrupting or delaying supply chains. Additionally, climate-related damage contributes to non-performing loans, constraining, constraining banks' liquidity and lending capacity, thereby exerting pressure banking sector stability. These climate impacts not only drive out insurance premiums for business, adding to financial costs, but also lead to high volumes of insurance claims, which in turn put additional pressure on the financial system. Extreme, extreme weather events and financial risks. Different types of extreme weather events. While total damage from extreme weather provide an aggregate measure of impact, it is essential to pinpoint which specific climate events, wildfires, storms, wet mass movements, droughts, extreme temperatures, and storms, have the most significant influence on financial risks. Our analysis delves into the heterogeneity of these effects. The findings indicate that wildfires and floods have the most substantial impact on FR. See Table 4. Interestingly, extreme temperatures negatively influence. Although this result is only weakly significant. To assess the economic relevance of these statistical results, our estimate is that with a 1 is the increase in damage due to wildfires leads to an increase in financial risk by 0.54 units, which represents 3.96% of the sample mean of financial risk. Extreme weather events and financial risk time lag effect. Extreme weather patterns can possibly influence financial risk after some time has lapsed. If so, this points towards a lagged effect of CC on FR. One way of understanding the lagged effect is to think of destruction to properties and infrastructure due to climate events. Insurance claims and/or asset write-offs can take time, which may transmit to financial risk not immediately but after some time. Results reported in Table 5 explore the dynamic effect of damage on financial risk by considering considering 5 lags. We discovered that damage with 1 and 2 years lags appears to influence financial risk positively and statistically significantly. The slope coefficient falls in the 0.038 and 0.058 range, with the t statistic in the range of 2 to 2.4. The main outcome of this analysis, therefore, is that CC-induced damage positively impact FR for around 24 months. Extreme weather events, financial risk, and CBGP. Given that extreme weather events increase FR, The key question is what is the role of central banks in addressing CC risk? We assess this role using the CBGP as previously discussed. Our model is designed to test this moderating effect. If the interaction term damage x CBGP yields a negative and significant coefficient, it will indicate that CBGP helps moderate CC risk on FR. The hypothesis on the moderating effect is tested using both control variables and without controls before we interpret the evidence on moderating effects. It is relevant to see why CBGP possibly influenced FR. Table 6. One reason for this positive correlation could be because CBGP represents an easing monetary policy for excellent discussions. The objective of CBGP is to facilitate capital into green projects. Green projects can be risky because of the impending risk of technological advancement, government policies, macroeconomic conditions, volatility in demand and supply, and the legal and regulatory frameworks. See discussion as such at all. These factors, either on their own or in combination, can dictate the valuation and performance of green assets and securities. We now read the evidence in the moderating effect reported in Table 6. The coefficient and damage x CBGP is minus 0.044. The negative sign implies that CBGP moderates the impact of climate conditions on FR. When business bear the impacts of CBGP becomes a valuable asset economically. This suggests that a 1 CD increase in damage contributes a 0.27 unit reduction in FR, or approximately 2% of the sample mean. Green finance originating from CBGP is an additional investment from green projects. CBGP enables capital to flow to green activities, thus strengthening firms' readiness for climatic extremes. Or results corroborate who argue that the Green QE program can decrease climate initiate financial instability. The results also coincide with Lamperty, who find that policies designed to alleviate climate risk, including green capital requirement, carbon risk adjustment, and green public guarantees, can be effective but probably also lead to financial instability. The moderating effect of the CBGP on FR from the impact of weather extremes is shown in Figure 1, where the solid line captures the marginal effect under the scenario of low CBGP. Observing Figure 2, under a low level of CBGP, financial risk greatly increases from low damage to high damage of extreme weather events. The marginal effect is substantial under the high CBGP. Financial risk goes through a slight increase from low to high damage compared to the low CBGP circumstance. The slope of this effect of climatic events of financial risk reduces with high level. With high level CBGP, the effects of CC on FR decrease as CBGP increase, indicating that the stronger central bank policies help mitigate FR due to CC. Extreme weather events, financial risk, and CBGP different policy. We further explore the role of central bank effectiveness by disaggregating the CBGP into its core components, namely REQ, GF, and MP. As discussed earlier, this level of heterogeneity is important to understand what precise stance of the central bank works most in practice. Results are displayed in Table 7. The first result of note is that REQ has a positively affects FR. The moderating effect of REQ turns out to be minus 0.088, which is twice the effect of CBGP. The second result is about GF, which has a statistically significant positive effect. Effect on financial risk. The moderating effect turns out to be almost twice the size of the effect of CBGP. Finally, the effect of MP on FR is 2.073. However, MP does not moderate the effect on financial risk. From this analysis, we conclude that the moderating effect of GF policy is the most prominent, followed by the REQ. The development of green project is regarded as a market failure due to its positive externalities, which means low return and high cost resulting in insufficient investment. Green finance policy issued by central banks can compensate for this market failure and release the financial constraints on green activities, such, a, such as pro-environment, technological research, green product purchase, and sanitary equipment applications. Technological development and a change towards CC mitigation and adaptations are regarded as a means to resisting climate risk and achieve sustainable transitions. Central banks, by ensuring institutions comply on climate reporting, help facilitate green transition in investment and loans, as well as the establishment of green finance system. Our findings suggest that central banks should actively incorporate green finance initiatives and integrate climate risk into their macroprudential frameworks. This approach can help reduce financial risk and better prepare for future challenges posed by CC. Extreme weather event financial risks in CBGP high and low credit countries. We examine We examine our CCFR hypothesis for countries with different credit scales. Subconsciously, the effect of CC on FR could be more distinct in high credit countries since the capital chain would be much longer and more intricate, making the economic losses caused by weather extremes prone to form massive unpaid loans with subsample countries based on the mean value of domestic credit provided by banks to private sectors with subsample countries into high and low credit countries by benchmarking the country mean credit with the aggregate sample mean credit. If the country mean is greater than the sample mean, the country is classified as high credit country and vice versa. This credit profile based analysis is important because a high level of borrowing from the private sector may lead to instability and credit expansion may weaken monetary policy effectiveness. Thus, CBCP may affect financial risk differently when faced with CC conditional on the credit profile of the country. Table A shows the results. The coefficients and damage due to extreme weather events on financial risks are 0.093, 0.095, and 0.096 for high credit countries, and 0.031, 0.030, and 0.028 for low credit countries. We see that extreme weather events impact financial risks statistically significantly for high credit countries, but insignificantly for low credit countries. The moderating effect of CBGP in high credit, low credit country is minus 0.060. Both results are significant, implying that CBGP is effective for countries regardless of their credit profiles. In the next step, we mount test to gauge the sensitivity of our findings. Specifically, we employ raw damage instead of its low value, and we employ different estimators. This test tells us whether our results are sensitive to the manner in which we measure CCFX and the econometric estimators technique. Table 9. As a result, we consider damage in US billion dollars. We find across different model specifications damage rates, financial risk, and CBGP plays a moderating role. See panel A. In panel B, we report results. We observe again that damage possibly influence FR, and CBGP moderates the effect of CC on FR. We repeat the test using a system GMM estimator and results in panel C confirm that results are consistent. Damage exposed experts a positive effect on FR, and CBGP moderates the influence of extreme weather on FR. We reach the conclusion that our main results on the effect of CCN on FR and the effectiveness of central banks in moderating the effects of CCE on financial risk or are robust to the measure of CCE and the choice of econometric technique. Conclusions. This research empirically examines how CCE, FR, and CBGP are related using cross-country data from 1984 2021 employee a two-way fixed effect model along with random effect and system GMM estimation for robust checks. We find that extreme weather events, particularly wildfires and floods, significantly increase financial risk with impacts lasting up to 3 years. Our findings also indicate that CBGP can moderate these effects, especially when banks are required to incorporate climate risk and enforce green finance programs. However, countries with large-scale credit systems experience higher financial risk from extreme weather events. Through CBGP's moderating effect is evident regardless of the credit portfolio. Previously, studies have shown that CC treatments financial stability. However, extreme weather events as acute manifestation of CC can cause sudden market shifts and systemic FRs. Our research provides evidence that CBGP plays a crucial role in reducing FRs from such events, but also carries the potential for increased FR. This highlights the need for further investigation into broader economic impacts of CBGP, including its effects on stock price volatility, volatility, inflation, and unemployment. Our work suggests the following policy recommendation. Governments and central banks should co-work on enhancing infrastructure resilience and establish robust insurance systems to increase adaptability to extreme weather. During extreme weather events, ensuring the smooth operation of banks and implementing contingency plans for deposit and withdrawals are vital. Post-disaster reconstruction should be viewed as a long-term effort to stabilize financial markets. Central banks can also reduce the negative impact of extreme weather by adopting green policies, green bonds, sustainable funds, and green loans, promoting investment in eco-friendly projects. However, careful consideration before implementing these policies to assess their potential economic impact. For countries with extensive credit systems, prioritizing risk mitigation related to extreme weather is crucial. Bueno, entonces básicamente lo que trata este artículo habla sobre cómo el cambio climático eh, básicamente pues em, manifestado en eventos pues extremos como incendios forestales o inundaciones, puede incrementar los riesgos financieros. Entonces dicen pues el artículo que alrededor de 115 países entre el año 1984 y 2021 eh, descubrieron que habían políticas verdes implementadas pues, por los bancos centrales que mitigaban estos riesgos. Específicamente pues las regulaciones y el fomento pues de esas finanzas verdes demostraron que pues demostraron ser pues como las herramientas más efectivas para poder reducir pues la vulnerabilidad financiera inducida por esos cambios climáticos. Básicamente en cuanto a esas políticas verdes de los bancos centrales, lo que realmente hacían era como mitigar los riesgos, esos riesgos financieros debido pues a ese cambio climático. Entonces, aparte de pues, de esas políticas verdes, habían como unos requisitos regulatorios. Entonces, esos requisitos regulatorios se centran pues como en asegurar que las instituciones financieras podían incorporarle los riesgos relacionados pues con el clima en sus operaciones. Entonces ahí podían incluir lo que era pues como divulgar la información relacionada pues con los riesgos ambientales. También podían pues como establecer o gestionar riesgos relacionados con el clima. Podían fomentar el crecimiento pues de esos mercados financieros verdes. Y entonces ahí entraba otro de esos requisitos regulatorios que eran las finanzas verdes, que en esa área los bancos centrales promovían pues como la financiación sostenible mediante los préstamos. ¿Con cuál era el fin? De que evitar pues de que cuando estas empresas que sufrían este tipo de catástrofes, como aseguraban sus empresas, eso hacía que estos bancos centrales perdían liquidez porque tenían que pagar ese excesivo dinero para que ellos pudieran reconstruir la estructura de esas empresas. Entonces ellos quisieron, entonces con esas finanzas verdes lo que hacían era hacer préstamos para que los bancos no perdieran esa liquidez. También había otro de ese tipo de políticas que llaman las macroprudenciales, que lo que hacían también era como garantizar pues la sostenibilidad ambiental y que se pudiera incorporar como ese sistema financiero. Entonces lo que hacían pues era ayudar a estas instituciones financieras y gestionar pues esos riesgos ambientales pues a largo plazo, donde ellos pudieran ser pues como mucho más sostenibles. El estudio pues dice que básicamente lo que es estas macroprudenciales em, moderaban pues como significativamente el efecto del daño climático en cuanto pues al riesgo financiero. Em, entonces lo que se concluía pues de esto es que esos eventos climáticos em, tenían lo que era pues como está diciendo hace poquito lo de las políticas verdes de los bancos centrales, donde podían pues moderar esos efectos. Y cuando se exige pues a los bancos que incorporen el riesgo climático, se aplicaban pues los programas de financiación verde. Entonces los países con sistemas de crédito que eran pues como a mayor escala, podían experimentar un mayor riesgo financiero debido pues a esos eventos climáticos. Aunque, aunque ese efecto moderador pues de las políticas verdes de los bancos centrales eh, podía generar pues como evidentemente eh, un perfil pues como crediticio, y estos también pues juegan un papel crucial en la reducción de los riesgos financieros derivados pues, de eventos climáticos externos, y también conllevan pues al potencial de aumentar el riesgo eh, financiero. Eh, el estudio también pues ofrece como recomendaciones políticas. Entonces ellos decían que básicamente los gobiernos y los bancos centrales deberían colaborar en la mejora de la resiliencia de la infraestructura, y también pues como establecer sistemas de seguro que fueran como mucho más robustos para poder aumentar em, la adaptabilidad pues de esos eventos climáticos. También durante los eventos climáticos extremos también recomendaban que era vital pues como garantizar el funcionamiento fluido de los bancos, y así implementar planes de contingencia para, para que estas empresas pudieran hacer como depósitos y también pudieran retirar plata. Y también pues como la reconstrucción posterior a los desastres, que se debería pues como considerar como algo a largo plazo para que esos mercados financieros se pudieran estabilizar.